Through two here at Prasco Park. Comets and Knights deadlocked at 0. Noah Samuel and Mason Clark engage in a pitching duel. And it'll be Samuel's turn to the mound. Start the third. First batter, Samuel will face Thomas Boster. In there for strike one.
And Boster has 14 hits on the season so far. That's the most on the Knights. 6 RBIs, so he's been pretty consistent, having a good year. Batting .350.
Time will be called, and Samuel gets a chance to step back off the mound.
And Samuel still yet to give up a run through 2 innings.
That one way outside. A good job by Block getting out there. This is a Comet squad. They have 1 loss in GMC play. That came to Middletown, and that was the last time Samuel was on the mound. It wasn't his best work. 4 earned and only 3 1/3. That's actually the first. That was first, second, third, and fourth earned runs that Samuel gave up all season long. He's got Boster 1-2 now ahead in the count. That one inside evens the count. Comets are going to have a lot of games coming up. We've had terrible weather so far in the first few weeks of the season, so we're going to see a lot of makeups, may even see some doubleheaders coming here soon. And that big anticipated matchup between Mason and Oak Hills, both of those games have yet to be played. As Boster stays live, fouls one off. Two now from Samuel, another one fouled off. And you got to think Mason's a team that'll benefit from that due to the depth they have of their pitching staff. We talk about Samuel, Garula, and Murphy all the time, but that's not to mention some others like A.J. Lefton, Quentin Kaler. Coach Kurt Bly feels very confident in the Comets that they can go one of those games with a bullpen day, have a couple of guys from the pen, go 2 or 3. Swung on and missed. Bly's going to have to throw down to first, and that's the first out of the inning. Another K for Noah Samuel.
And Ben, talking about that pitching depth, I talked to Coach Bly and the 3 Comet aces, and they're very confident in their bullpen and some of their secondary starters, like A.J. Lefton. They gave big boost of confidence.
Velocity showing off there from Samuel for strike number 1 to the catcher, Petrie. I mean, there are just not a lot of guys in high school that are be able to catch up to that one. Another one, that one didn't catch the zone, but.
Yeah, and nothing Petrie could do there but just look on and hope. It fell out of the strike zone, a little inside.
That one swung on way inside, but he got Petrie to swing anyway. Sometimes that's what that velocity can do when you got to think that quick. But Samuel's now up 1-2.
Petrie, a freshman, not having the best year on the plate yet. Only hitting 156, but he has a bright future.
Second strikeout of the inning as Bly throws on for another drop third strike. And Samuel is dealing through 2 2/3. He's now got the 9th spot in the lineup. Paul Kelly coming up, the center fielder for Kings.
And now we've seen a lot of those drop third strikes. Gotta wonder if Samuel throwing it a little low or just.
That one skied high from Kelly, camping under it. Easy play made by A.J. Lefton, and that'll do it. We'll head to the middle of the third. Comets deadlocked at 0 with Kings Knights. Mason Clark back on the mound for inning number 3. Noah Samuels pitched very efficiently. Clark trying to match here in the bottom of the third. Comets have had a few base runners. And we'll get the third started with the bottom of the lineup. A.J. Lefton, the second baseman, to lead off. First pitch swinging, A.J. Lefton. Kind of an awkward spot, and it'll fall. Lefton, a base hit right there in Bermuda's triangle between the first, second, and right fielder, and he'll be awarded second. And that's going to say there's obstruction there from the first baseman, and that's going to give A.J. Lefton second. That's something very rare. It didn't look like Lefton really had a chance to get to second, but umpires ruling that there was someone on the base path.
It's a big break for the Comets, and kind of putting Clark in a hole now.
There's nothing like starting off, turning it over to the top of your lineup with one in scoring position and no out. We'll see what Drew Cox can do with it. He had a leadoff walk in the first inning.
Lefton got a little aggressive there. His third hit of the season, so a big confidence booster there. He's started off a little cold.
And you do not have to be worried about Lefton taking third, especially as third base, and Lefton's not the quickest on the base paths. Ball one's delivered to Drew Cox. You mentioned it earlier, Drew Cox kind of reminds you of Max Johnson, only he's wearing the Max Johnson number 2. Part of this bright future, only a junior for the Comets. Takes one low.
Johnson meant a lot for this program for a couple years, was their major leader and captain last year after, 2 years ago, no season, so most of those guys did not have varsity experience. You can't replace that, but you can replace the production, and Cox has been off to a good start filling in that shortstop role.
3-0 count now for Drew Cox with a runner in scoring position and no one out. Prime position for the Comets. And it's not the position you want to be in if you're Clark, with Garula, Hanley, and Murphy all set up after Cox.
The Comets murderers row waiting in the wings. 3-0 count. And
the 3-0 outside. Ball number 4 to Drew Cox, and Brendan Garula will come up with a runner on first and second and no one out. Second plate appearance for Drew Cox and the second walk.
We came in expecting a low-scoring game. Now you got a runner in scoring position, no outs, and the very best part of this lineup up. If Clark isn't careful, the Knights could fall into a big hole here. And the way Samuel's pitching, he might not get some help from his offense.
Yeah, Mason Clark has let 3 on base before this inning. Now he's let 5 on, but he hasn't let one across yet. That one's inside for ball 1 to Garula. Garula, the left-handed pitcher, but he hits righty, and very rare for the Comets. You look at their 3-man rotation, and 2 of the 3 are lefties. That can be very beneficial. Then it's 1-0 to Brendan. He'll call for time. Rula, like we talked about, committed to play baseball at UC, and a lot of these UC commits, some of you got to realize they're making that jump from American to Big 12 while he's there, so that's a Big 12 baseball program. It'll be here soon.
Yeah, and he'll be joining a lot of Comets there.
A lot of people like to call the UC baseball team Mason University baseball team. They got 4 former Comets. 3 of them play a lot, and then you also got Evan Kemp to go along with Cole Harding, J.P. Sponseller, and Joe Powell.
Yeah, and Harding, I believe, just got his 100th career hit.
As only a sophomore.
Only a sophomore. He's
batting over 300 on the season.
Him and Powell have done great things in their first few years over at that UC program.
So Garula's got a 1-0 count. Mason Clark in a tough spot. Garula nails it down the left field line. It will be foul. That one was hit hard by Garula. That was a scare there for Clark. But all that'll do is even the count at 1.
Garula swinging for the fences there. Just a little left, but starting to threaten Clark a bit.
He was anxious for that one. Turned on it a little early. One almost hit Garula, breaking ball inside. And Clark's trying to make sure he's keeping left and honest at second.
Clark looking a little frustrated after that pitch. That off speed just didn't break the way he wanted it.
No one really keeping left and on at second anyway. And Clark's going to step off, regather himself. You can tell the nerves are getting to him, especially when you got guys like Jake Hanley on deck, Michael Murphy in the hole. Garula's just as dangerous. Batting .430 on the season. And he had an incredible performance on the mound on Saturday against Walsh Jesuit. Went 6 1/3.
And that game against Walsh, it's going to be a huge confidence booster heading into the rest of the season for the Comets. Their team that hopes to contend for a state title, and beating one of the top teams in like Walsh is going to be huge for that. Garula, Samuel, Murphy, all going to be pitching their best ball.
Hitters count now for Garula. 2 on, 1 no out. The delivery from Clark. Swung on, drilled. Ranging over the center field. That'll be caught by the left fielder. Lefton will try to advance to third. And he'll get there easily. And Cox stays at first on that one. So the first out for the Comets, but they do advance 1. And they're just 90 feet away from taking a lead now with Jake Hanley at the plate.
And that's where those long fences come into play. In some ballparks, that might have been a homer for Garula, close to the warning track. 380 in the mid to left fence line.
So here's Hanley. Take ball 1. He's having a little bit of a slow start considering the year he had last year and what we know he's capable of, but still batting .300. It's hard to knock that.
Yeah, expectations very high for the standout sophomore. But Hanley will get it going.
And he drills one out to center field, ranging all the way back at the wall. And a catch in mid-air. It'll be a sacrifice fly. Lefton will come in to score. That'll score 1. And the Comets now lead 1-0, courtesy of Jake Hanley. So here comes Murphy coming off that 5 RBI night. He now has 1 on with 2 out. A good job by Clark so far limiting the damage. Only letting 1 across. He was in a tough position. Breaking ball high for pitch number 1 to Murphy.
Yeah, both those fly balls into the outfield could have been a lot worse, but Hanley able to get his 6th RBI on the season. And in a game where we've got two great starting pitchers, 1 run might be the difference between a win and a loss.
Strike 1 delivered to Murphy on the outside corner. I talked to Coach Bly earlier. He couldn't really understand why he let his players wear their road blacks when they're going to be home today. That's something he said he was regretting his decision today in English class, but his players wanted to wear their blacks. Those are new this year with pinstripes.
I can't blame them. Some nice uniforms, the Comets. The Kelly green goes nice with any color.
Yeah, I think that's the one reason Bly made sure there was some Kelly green in there. And if there was no Kelly green, then Mason wouldn't be wearing them at all. There's ball number 2 to Murphy. Now ahead in the count. I think we can hear the tick-tock sound coming out of the Mason dugout. They always like to talk about how wild their dugout gets. And Murphy smacks one foul, evens the count at 2.
And 2-2 count. This is where the Prasco atmosphere starts to get to you. A lot of fans here. Definitely abnormal for a regular season high school game, but I mean, the backyard rivalry. This isn't just a regular high school game.
A lot of times, it's rare to see both teams throw their number 1 arms in non-conference games, but because this game means so much, it's a tradition. There's a trophy on the line. Both teams decided that this game means a little more than any non-conference game. The 2-2 now to Murphy. Swung on and missed. I think he fouled it off. Foul tip, and Petrie couldn't catch it, so Murphy stays alive.
Mason
still
and
have a
Kings.
2-2 count.
Mason and Kings used to be conference rivals in the old Fort Ancient Valley Conference. The Comets kind of aged out of that one a little over a decade ago, and they've dominated in the GMC. The Kings has made a nice transition to the ECC.
Yeah, last year for Mason it was a slow start. It didn't look like they were going to win the GMC, but they had a strong finish and were able to catch up to Oak Hills and split the GMC trophy with them. A 2-2 swung on and missed. No foul tip this time. And a really good job of limiting the damage for Mason Clark. He had 2 on with powerful hitters up, but it's only 1-0. Comets now have the lead through 3. Through 3 here at Prasco Park, the Comets have a 1-0 lead over the Kings Knights. A sac fly from Jake Hanley's the reason. And Noah Samuel, another big reason. Kings is scoreless so far. He's been through the Kings lineup once now. We'll see him a second time. Samuel, coming off that Tommy John surgery, hasn't gone more than 3 much on the season. And leading off the inning is going to be Drew Burden. It'll be ball 1 to him.
Yeah, his last start against Middletown through 3 and a 3rd innings before he was pulled. But see if he stretches past that tonight.
He finds the zone for strike 1.
But as long as he's pitching well, feeling good, Maybe Coach Bly in the rivalry game lets him pull through a couple extra innings.
Just inside for ball 2. Samuel, last year, I mean, we talked about the Tommy John surgery, but we talked about the COVID year. You add those two things together, and this is his first year of varsity experience.
Yeah, kind of crazy that we're talking about a Division I commit that's just now playing his first varsity games. Now, obviously, a lot of the recruiting in baseball happens during the summer season, but
that one inside runs the count full, and we talked to Samuel, and he talked about his first high school varsity start. There were about 24, 25 scouts there. So I don't know how nerve-wracking that has to be for your first start. That one gets Burden. That is the first base runner of the game for Kings with a leadoff hit by pitch. And Sam Palmieri now has one on with no one out.
Yeah, that's the first base given up so far from Samuel. Bit of an uncharacteristic.
So for the first time tonight, he'll have to pitch from the stretch. On the outside corner, strike one to Palmieri. Palmieri on the year, hitting .343, having a solid season. Now there in the 2-hole. Lefty on righty matchup, taking off is Burden, but it's fouled off, so he'll have to head back to first.
And Burdine, 8 stolen bases on the year, so Samuel needs to keep an eye on him. This Kings team, they've got some speed. Palmieri up to the plate right now. He's got 7 stolen bases, so if he's able to get on, there'll be a lot of threats. Base running.
0-2, Samuel's going to look back to first base, nothing there. Brady Bly is set up far outside. Kind of a throwaway pitch here, likely on the 0-2 count. We'll see if he decides to attack. He'll come back in. The 0-2 from Samuel. That one's low. Jack Smith waiting in the on-deck circle. That's not who Samuel wants to face. He looks back over again. Kind of caught Burdine off guard. Luckily, he realized it late, but he was able to get back just in time. And there wasn't a slide either. He wasn't too far off the base. That's why he could get over quickly. That's still a 1-2 count now to Palmieri. Burdine takes off once again, the inside pitch. I say strike 3 looking. That looked way inside. But Burdine swipes second. And we talked about the generous strike zone from the ump there. I think Samuel got a little lucky.
Burdine gets that base, does come at a cost of an out, but now the Kings has a runner in scoring position.
He tries to swipe third. Rutherford applies the tag, and he's safe. 2 straight stolen bases now for Burdine after the leadoff hit by pitch.
And Burdine, the sophomore, now he's into the double digits with stolen bases. That's pretty impressive there.
That's why he's a leadoff hitter. And our director, Adam Little, got to see that again, and he's saying he's out. But it was a close play at third. Only 1 field ump, but those plays are hard to make. And now Samuel has got a runner 90 feet away. Jack Smith at the plate. And a sacrifice here could tie the game up.
And this is where you have to wonder when Bly contemplates a pitching change. Samuel's kind of in uncharted waters here into the 4th inning.
0-2 count inside. First ball of the AB. This one's lifted by Jack Smith right to the center fielder. Play made by West. The throw coming home. A strong throw. That's about as close as you're going to get. Play from home. But the sacrifice scores Palmieri, and we're tied up at 1 here at Kings. Here for Kings. A sac fly for each team. And how about that throw from Kevin West?
Kevin West, he's known for his fielding, but that's a heck of a throw from all the way out in center field. And like you said, about as close as you're going to get when you have a base runner with the speed.
So Jack Smith gets the job done. But there's now 2 outs with no one on. Noah Samuel can work with a little more comfort. Gets Rustwick swinging for strike 1.
You can feel the atmosphere starting to get a little louder here. Prasco, Kings fans getting excited after that run. Mason trying to retake the momentum.
Grounded right to Hanley. He'll retire Rustwick for the 3rd out of the inning. So that'll be it from the 4th. But both teams scratch across 1, and we're deadlocked. 1-1 here at Prasco Park. Brady Bly will get us started here in the top of the 5th inning. He'll face Mason Clark. Top of the 4th, excuse me. Geez, Andrew, why aren't you reminding me the inning here? Bottom of the 4th, Mason the home team. Of course, we talked about Kurt Bly earlier. Maybe Mason is at fault for wearing their road uniforms when they're the home team tonight. But Michael Murphy takes ball 2.